Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony, and Intel has came out with their new 10th gen mainstream processors. While Intel is trying to keep AMD at bay with everything AMD is progressing forward, Intel's still stuck on the 14 nanometer side in their desktop arena, and they are really pushing it so that they can keep AMD at bay and still claim their top spot as the best gaming processor. And with that competition, it's actually seen some benefits here for the consumer side. Intel now has a 10 core 20 thread processor out in the mainstream desktop, something we've only seen since AMD's really been competing in here, and before then it was a quad core 8 thread from there. So yes, it's been a few years now, but AMD has really put forth the best effort to really push Intel to make sure that they're supplying us with better processors each year and making them more performant so that we can reap those benefits as consumers. Now, are these processors really valuable for what you're trying to do? That's really going to come down to what exactly you're trying to do and what prices you want to pay. For that, I would really consider and going and jump around at everybody else's YouTube channels that have, or even review sites that have taken the time to really sit down and review each of these processors. I don't have any of these to test, nor compare it to anything else out there that I even have here because, well, I don't have one. So, with that, I do want to do a little compression of much my thoughts on what AMD is or what Intel is really putting out there. I mean, Intel has this processor now. What is it, 10900K, which is the 5.2 boost on like their Turbo Boost Max frequency, and then they have a Turbo Boost Max 3.0 or velocity boost. So Intel did a lot with boosting and getting that all ironed out here. And on the, what is it, their 10900 can go up to 5.3 gigahertz on a single core. So they've really tried to push this forward to really get the maximum clock speeds out of this processor. They even shaved down the die a little bit on that processor. They still have the same thickness or same outside dimensions of the processor, so that you can still fit on the same coolers, etc. But they really did put forth an effort to make sure that when it's a single threaded performance, they're going to make sure that they, keep that, benefits of being theirs and not AMD's. And this really showed that with the competition here with AMD's, it's going to go right up against AMD's 12 core, that it is beating out, it looks like really trading blows with that 12 core back and forth, especially in gaming. It looks like it's beating out. But if AMD were to, let's say, release one that with a little bit higher clock speeds as well, this could go all the way. And with Zen 3 on the horizon, who knows where this will sit here in a few months. But Intel's taking its opportunity that it has right now to try to capture what it can in the marketplace. With all that said, though, you have to ask, with the 9900K being so power hungry, where does this sit on power? We're adding two more cores. We're not dropping down in node processors, and there's no really redesign or much design improvements on the CPU side. And if you put it to defaults of what the processor specs are, so taking off multi-core enhancement and everything else in the BIOS from what these reviewers look, I'm actually surprised. It actually stays in line with what it says the power envelope is. From Gamers Nexus was out there, had that, and I'm trying to remember some other ones I was looking at, but Gamers Nexus has some of the best graphs, so I recommend go there. And with it, I was quite surprised that they were able to hold that in their power target, which I congratulate Intel on being able to achieve that 10 core 20 threads in that power envelope. I just wish that you pushed it a little bit more, Intel, and gave us more than just 10 cores over this period of time. But I'm hoping that you can come back swinging here soon. However, once you turn on that multi-core enhancement, let a lot of the default BIOS settings, not the Intel defaults that they will recommend, but the default BIOS settings take over, you can really start pulling some power. Granted, it at that point when you do that, it really can game. It really can get up there and stretch its legs, but it needs all that power to be able to do that because you're not power restricting it. And so there's some benefits there. If you want to open it up and let it fly, this is going to be something that you can do that. You can pull I think I saw some upwards of 325 watts being pulled off this chip, which is quite impressive. Being able to pull all that and do what it can do, right? Super fast gaming CPU in that arena when you get there, and when you have it fully unrestricted like that. But really, once you start going through the numbers, it can really trade blows with the AMD 3900X. And that's what I've been waiting for, something to trade blows. Now, would I go recommending this CPU right now? I just am not sold that Intel's going to keep its motherboards for this generation and next generation. I know they've said it, but if you want to be upgrading just CPUs from one generation to the next, it's still not something I'm completely sold on. And so, yeah, I would cautiously wait if this is something you're looking at, if that's something you want to do. If you want to upgrade, it's Intel just not has that trust for me. AMD, on the other hand, you can kind of, make an uproar and have them reconsider, which is not something Intel has done in the past. Hopefully, Intel can start changing this. I also want to see all processors just be unlocked. None of this locking and unlocking Intel. Just unlock all of them. Be done with it, and let the competition lie where it is. Right? Let's see how well your processors can overclock. Let's see how well they can compete with each other. And really, if you need to differentiate, we're now seeing we can differentiate on cores. We don't necessarily always have to differentiate on speed. And that could even give you a boost against AMD's processors in another realm, where AMD's always saying that they're unlocked processors, you can overclock them. However, AMD does not do that with their graphics. And we'll keep pointing that out until AMD fixes that. But with that, Intel would have a huge opportunity for this. Now, we'll have to wait and see where everything lines up here, but I really, really like to see what Intel's done here. Is it a home run? Is it something to write home about? No, it's just Intel came to the party that was already started by AMD, and they provided something worthwhile that we can take a look at. And that's what we need at this time. We need something to push prices down. It looks like AMD is going to be lowering their prices from some of the stuff I'm seeing now, which is great, right? You're getting consumers then get to choose between which product they really want. Intel wins some blows, especially with gaming. If you want to do productivity work and everything else, as well as game, a well-rounded processor, that looks to be the AMD side right now. But Intel brought a product that is better well-rounded than it was with the 9900K versus the 3900X. And this was a huge time coming that Intel needed to do it. Now we just hope that Intel can get over the hump and actually start bringing out that 10 nanometer, that 7 nanometer that we're all looking for, so that it really can maybe push AMD into pushing themselves a little bit harder as well. So let me know what your thoughts are on this whole Intel launch of the 10th gen desktop series. What are you looking forward to? I think that there's going to be some really great benefits. I know I focus a lot on that 10 core 20 thread part, but I really think there's going to be some really cool benefits in that 6 core range right against AMD's 6 core. I think this is where the naming scheme I thought AMD should have went with, which is dropping everything down and making the R5s the 8 cores would have really helped AMD, really would have put Intel in more of a bind for this generation. But they didn't do that. They left the door open for Intel, and Intel's taking advantage of it where it can. But AMD has also been producing these processors for a little bit, which allows them to drop the prices, probably have better manufacturing yields as well. Most undoubtedly, they have better manufacturing yields, which is great for consumers because now prices will drop and we'll have more opportunity to buy processors depending upon what fits our needs the best. So with that, leave your comments below. I would love to read them, what your thoughts are on this processor launch, and where do you think AMD is going to go, especially with some of the rumors out that they may come with like a 3800 XT with a little bit of clock boost, and 3900 XT and 37 or 3600 XT, something like that. But where do you think that leaves them, and where does Intel sit there in that stack? This little competition back and forth is really fun to watch. I think it's going to be a nice benefit to consumers in the end as well. So with that, I do want to say God bless. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for guys for taking the time to help support this channel, helping it grow. I really am appreciative of everything that's been happening over the channel over the last couple months, and I appreciate it a lot. Until next time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.